Hi, my name is Brad Lehman. I'm a watercolor artist living in Roswell, Georgia, and I wanted to take you through the process of my painting today. I found this picture online and I really liked the way the light looked, and so I thought I'd give it a go. Um, I typically work from a very limited palette. I don't use a ton of colors because I feel like you can get some pretty dramatic effects, and it simplifies it as well by using just some simple colors, just a few colors. My main colors that I use are burnt sienna, combinations of burnt sienna, cadmium red, ultramarine blue, cobalt blue, and yellow ochre, cadmium yellow. And if anybody comments on this and has some questions about the colors or anything, I'm happy to give more detail. But that's kind of high level what I use. I would say for this one, for the skin tones in this, I'm using a combination of cadmium red, not much of that because it's a very strong color, and I am combining that with some yellow ochre and some burnt sienna. And honestly, I just mix it all together until it looks right on the palette. For the lighter skin tones, that's the color that I'm using. And for the darker skin tones, I'm taking that same mixture that I just mentioned and I'm adding in a bit of ultramarine blue in varying amounts. So if it gets very dark, then I'm adding in a lot more ultramarine blue. I've noticed over time, just through experience with painting, that the ultramarine blue does a really good job of getting some really, really dark tones. Cobalt blue is good as well, but it doesn't get nearly as dark as the ultramarine blue. Um, anyway, for the shadows and for the neck, I'm definitely using mostly a combination of burnt sienna and ultramarine blue. For the hair tone, I'm also using the burnt sienna and ultramarine blue. Uh, and the fingertips, which I think I kind of highlight later on, the ones that are kind of sunstruck, I end up using just pure cadmium red. So anyway, that's kind of an overview of the colors. As far as process, it's taken me a long time to kind of get to this point of being able to sort of do this without that much planning, but I would say my kind of process is studying very closely a picture that I want to paint and then identifying where are all the lights, where are all the mediums, and where are all the dark tones. So it's kind of identifying where all the values are, value study. And I can do a separate video on values, I can do a separate video on color, all that. Hopefully, I mean, the main purpose of this video is really just to talk through it a little bit, and hopefully you can watch this and hopefully you can kind of enjoy it. Hopefully it's kind of relaxing to just watch it and see the process. For my paintings, I typically like to paint things that are really light struck. I like things that are just pounded by really, really bright light. I don't know why, that's just the thing that I really enjoy to paint. And anyway, yeah, so typically in watercolor, and you don't have to do this, but I like to try to do the lighter stuff first. Make sure I kind of carve out on the painting where all the lightest stuff is going to be and focus on the lightest tones first. And then come back in and do the very, very darkest darks. And it's interesting, watercolor can be very deceptive when you're putting some tones that are ultimately, or values that are ultimately going to be very, very light. You can put them on the paper and they don't really look that light until you add those incredibly dark darks next to them. It can be very, very deceiving. I apologize for this section of the video. I think I made a recording error. It seems like it's zoomed in a lot more than I had originally intended. Sorry about this. And I can always add, I can always do other videos later on. Anyway, so again, high level process. What I did, I found a painting or a picture that I liked online. I did kind of a rendition of it, just a drawing, and then I studied the original reference photograph and studied where the lights were, like specifically on the fingers, the edges of the cup, the edge of the face, the edge of the arm, the edge of that chair arm. Those are where all the lights are, just the whites of the paper. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. Please comment, like, and subscribe if you enjoyed it. See you back again soon.